Good morning. So, is it better to do low intensity, steady state, or high intensity like the HIIT workouts? That was a question I had yesterday, which brings on to actually a Q&A that I'm doing tonight on heart rate. Because some people ask, what heart rate zone should I be in? And it is a minefield now, isn't it? And I think the answer always depends. Like, let's put this simply: what's your goal? Where are you at? Where are you at starting from? Are you a trained person? Are you relatively untrained? And I'm going to start with relatively untrained. You've not done too much in a while. You've not really that experience in lifting or running too much. If you're there, the key thing is actually getting volume and frequency in first. So like frequency and duration is like to build the total volume will be important first. Can we get in like 3 workouts a week to complement some muscle strength? Like muscle strength would be a given. Like, if you can do 1-2 times or short little workouts, short little bursts, we know that's going to have lots of benefits: bone density, you name it, strength, muscle mass, retention as we try and lose body fat, if you are looking to lose body fat as well. But if you're relatively untrained in this, we need to build up that first. So if that's walking, great. And if we can get that to improve like metabolic health, which is associated, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, etc., associated with excess body fat, untrained, so not exercising. This will be the first step. So, I wouldn't necessarily say that low intensity is better for this. However, if you were like, right, I'm going to come to FruciFit, we're going to do some work, I want to get fit, I want to get stronger, we're not going to stand there with you and just go for a walk with you necessarily. You'd probably be better off doing that with a friend at home, whatever, and then doing the strength work and more the high intensity potential with us. So we can monitor you, we can help you, motivate you, make sure your form's on point, because actually when you're just starting out, doing like high intensity is really hard. Like, how do you know what high actually is? Like, getting out of the comfort zone is a tough thing to do at your own and even know if you're doing it. If I'm training on my own, I'm experienced, but if I'm training on my own, my comfort zone isn't as easy to get out of if I'm training with someone else and they're pushing me a bit more, or I've got a goal in mind that I'm super motivated for. So there's lots of variables with that. And what I would say firstly is just do what you can with this. And I know that's like a blasé answer, but that's just to give you like flexibility. If you're short on time, try and get some high intensity work in, but just make sure because to get the benefit, of course, it's short on time, you don't have to do it as long, but just to make sure you're comfortable with it. So if you're working at a high intensity, it might not be the high intensity that's associated with all the benefits out there because you're not experienced enough to get to that level yet. However, it's still doing something. It still might be high for you, regardless of heart rate, because heart rate can be massively fluctuating. You've got the variability with the weather. If you go for a walk or a jog in the afternoon in August, so like today, and say it's warm today, you might get some variability with what zone you're in, and you might go, I felt fine, but I was in zone 3, and that might be because your heart rate has increased due to the heat, maybe dehydration a little bit. But that doesn't mean you're working with like less oxygen, if you like. And we look too much into that. People might go, I better walk for a bit. Let's get back into zone 2. That might just be some variability because of the weather. We've been going to this all day. So low intensity steady state, you're going to be using more predominantly fat as the energy source. That doesn't mean you're going to lose more fat, but it takes more time. It's low impact, it's less stressful, but it takes more time. The benefits of high intensity work, shorter, lots of benefits metabolically. You could put in some strength work within it as well, doing that in a faster rate. Challenges the body a bit more, changes the comfort zone a little bit more, can be a bit more fun for a lot of people. So, and in terms of that, you might even increase the muscle gain you get from doing it as well, especially if you are untrained. Even aerobic training, actually, low intensity can increase muscle mass in untrained people, but high intensity work, because you're moving faster, you get the fast twitch muscle fibers working, you're more likely to put on some muscle at the same time as well. But again, like I said, it's a bit more stressful. It does require a bit more thinking power, technique, which is why I said about if you're doing that, try and get a coach, make sure you're personal training, make sure you're doing it with good form technique to limit injury risk as well. So in short, that's where I'd be from a beginner's point of view. Just get the volume. If you can start like 3 times a week getting something in, perfect. Start with that. Get your steps up. Have a minimum threshold for your steps as well. And that's a perfect target to have. And then get your strength work in 1-2 times a week, or you can get more, great. But I'm talking from a beginner's point of view on that. So, and by 3 times, I don't mean like doing it for like an hour. It could be just 20 minutes. It could be just a dog walk, whatever. If you're doing that already, try and progress it. Walk a bit faster, walk a bit longer. We're trying to build in that duration to start with. So then let's talk about like more longer term. Well, similar applies in that depends on your goals. Like if you're trying to run a marathon, you're going to have to go towards more, that's an extreme example, but you're going to have to go towards more endurance work. So you're going to have to do long, steady state, because specificity is quite key in here. You might want to get into your zones a bit more, do some zone 2, but again, don't stress if you're into zone 3 at times. There's benefits of that as well. Like you can see how long you can go at a higher push with some mechanical tension as well. You're going to be drifting in and out. You might spend some time learning what zone 2 feels like for you as well. There's lots of variables in here, but I would still include some high intensity because, you know, look at some of the research in around something called wind gates. So wind gates are, if I was to give you a short example, let's say you're on a bike, it tries to mimic like sport high intensity push-up, and it's great in terms of VO2 max and getting fitness levels up in short. So 3 seconds, you sprint with low resistance, and then after 3 seconds, you get someone or you ramp up the resistance on the bike. So it's like you're going and then you're uphill, and you then hit that hill and you keep going for the rest of 20 seconds. That leg burn comes in, just pushing through it, gets your heart rate straight up. You get that power, you get the strength work in as well. So it's almost like speed meets strength power, which is a great kind of combination in terms of sport specifically, but it's going to just help create that different stimulus and maybe give you that edge in terms of working at high intensities as well. And again, it's that nice blend between getting a different style of fitness in, which might have some metabolic benefits as well. So that's my ramble this morning. And again, you can probably tell it's quite an individual thing. So I hope that helps. And any questions, as always, just let me know. And this is what I'm doing right now with very low intensity, strolling along, but actually quite enjoying it. So I'll see you later. Any questions, let me know. And